This mutation is called Firewall, and it's being played on Malwarfare. We have 3 mutators active. We have Minesweeper, we have Lava Burst, and we have Barrier. So by far the most difficult mutator here to deal with is the Minesweeper mutator. It is just ridiculously annoying. So the entire map is filled with minefields, and the minefields consist of a few spire mines and a few widow mines. And if you are not paying attention, you will find your army very promptly deleted by that. That is actually very cool. Okay, so let's have a look at the masteries what the players are going to be using. We have a concentrated beam width for Swann, Immortality Protocol, and the drill upgrade. For Karax, we have the unit cost reduction, the chrono wave energy regeneration, and the spear of Adun energy. So one of the things that does make this tricky for Karax is the Karax can theoretically fast expand on this mission. But what could happen is if there is a minefield in the wrong location here, you will end up losing your probe in the process of trying to take your expansion. You will be a very sad panda. So we will see how the commanders choose to deal with this. One of the other things that also makes this annoying is because Minesweeper is spread across the entire map, there's a high chance that as you're trying to defend the transport, you may actually get smoked by the mines in the process as well. So let's see what the plan is here. The Lava Burst. It seems like not a big deal to have Lava Burst around, but Lava Burst combined with a Minesweeper, if you're completely in the wrong position, you may end up trying to dodge Lava Burst and run into a minefield instead. The other thing that can also happen is Lava Burst hits your heroic units. You end up taking a lot more damage than you would normally be expecting. And now there is a build over here, and a thank you from CG asking his ally to provide him with a chrono boost. He wants to get his concentrated beam out as quickly as possible, and this is one of the strategies I was talking about earlier in some casts I was talking about. There are 2 ways of playing Swann when it comes to the drill upgrade versus the Vespine drone mastery. So sometimes you'll do a little bit of a split if you like to go for your command center and build your blaster billies and whatnot. But on missions like this, where you have a contested expansion, one thing you can do is max out your drill upgrade mastery, and then float your factory to get vision, and you can actually start clearing your expansion. Like, you can float your factory at about 3 minutes and 45 seconds or something, and use your drill to start attacking enemy units here. Unfortunately, because these units do not fight back and do not aggro the factory, it takes a while to take those units out because they will run away when the drill starts poking them. But that is one thing to also note when you are playing Swann. We now have a concentrated beam that ends up one-shotting this attack wave, which is absolutely insane there. So there we go, there's a concentrated beam, ends up deleting the attack wave. And now we have a combat drop here to just help start dealing with the site. And you can see here, these mines are dealing a lot of damage to this combat drop here. A few more cannons as well from Karax's part to just help clean up the site. But you can see here what's happening. The cannons are providing vision for these mines, but these mines have the barrier buff as well, which is making a few problems very apparent for these commanders. So that area has been dealt with, and now we have Orana's transport that is making its way towards this next security terminal. Orana's transport is not affected by the lava bursts, so it is not really too much of a problem if the lava burst spawns underneath her. So now Swann has gotten his full drill upgrades, so he has his concentrated beam and his pulse cannon, so it'll be more than fine now to be able to deal with the later stages of the mission. There is a widow mine that goes off over here that ends up hitting Swann's SCV. SCV is like, oh, okay, that was not very pleasant. He does get saved by Karax's unit barrier, so that's okay. We now have a pulse cannon that gets dropped on this side for Swann that ends up wiping that next harass wave, and now the factory is just fooling around, just chilling and being a happy little factory over here. And there is still no float on the side. Is Karax going to actually go ahead and take this expansion as well? Karax is now, there's another drill now that gets focused on this. A few more orbital strikes come out and end up saving that cannon. Fortunately, lava burst does come up underneath that cannon and end up wiping that side. Okay, so Karax is actually going for 3 base versus a 1 base Swann, which is a very interesting strategy over here, which is also now reminds me as to why I actually chose to do this replay. So there we go. There is now another bunch of static defenses that get put down to try and defend Orana's transport, which is okay. The solar lances come down to help deal with this harass wave. I think there might be one more solar lance available. but they have to go ahead and get the suppression tower in position over here. So yeah, one solar lance gets dropped on this side, another concentrated beam comes up on here, and end up dealing some damage. So it might be really weird why the concentrated beams are being positioned like this. The reason why is because Swann is actually using these concentrated beams to start weakening this enemy base here. So if the first beam went through here, the other beam is going to go through here. So what it's done is it's taken out, you know, a few of the enemy units in that side. So that's something you can also do, is you can do a sweep with the beams to just start clearing once in a while. But I tend to use the concentrated beams more personally. I tend to use concentrated beams for dealing with attack waves, or scary attack waves. On this mission, there's really no need for that because the attack waves aren't particularly strong. But we have a focus of the beam as well onto the suppression tower here. Finish up with Orana. And yeah, there's now a combat drop that gets put down. Just have to do a little bit more damage. They will have to move around these lava bursts, because the lava bursts will end up melting these combat drops very, very quickly if we are not paying attention over here. Because you do take a lot of bonus damage from these lava bursts here. A little bit more building. The Karax's repair beam is actually doing a lot of work here. And now Swann has put down some more static defenses on this side. There is a purifier beam now that has gone dropped here, just dealing with these zealots. These zealots will end up getting completely melted by that purifier beam. And yeah, there we go. There is just a factory that's still floating over here. Purifier beam is trying to go and get some extra bit of damage onto this camp here. Unfortunately, spawned a little bit too late.
Upgrade complete.
That factory is taking a little bit too much damage, gets picked off by the lava burst as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. Orana's transport is actually ready to go and move into the next security terminal, so I'm not really sure what the next step is of the way. So Swann has already gotten some siege tanks out, so I'm presuming there's a Hercules in production once this once this tech reactor is done. And that will provide Swann with the mobility that he needs to be able to deal with some of the ground forces that he will be up against. Again, there's another concentrated beam that gets dropped on here. You can just see how it's like slowly starting to weaken the side out and wiping out the enemy forces. Unfortunately, Orana's transport is already making its way towards the next warp gun. You can see over here, this is one of the issues with Minesweeper, because Minesweeper is considered an Amon unit. It puts Amon's units on the ground. That Minesweeper can actually end up hitting Orana's transport, which is something that's going to end up happening over here as well. And there will be a lot of spider mines as well that will be doing so much damage, and there's some back waves as well on this side. And but this has been cleaned up by Karax's orbital strike. And yeah, there we go. Orana's transport is already at 6,000 HP because it has just walked into a minefield, literally. Now there are a bunch of immortals that are also wailing on Orana's transport, which is again causing it to slow down. You see the spider mines dealing so much damage to this transport. And yeah, there might even be some more mines that are in this location. I'm not really sure. Anyway, she's now decided to park herself here. Not going to be moving anywhere forward. And Karax is just going to start clearing out the site. He has gotten his first carrier out, which is okay. Carrier walks into the lava burst, but he does notice that. And again, there is a bunch of yeah, you can see just the sheer number of mines over here. Few orbital strikes come down to try and take this minefield out, but Karax will need a little bit more than that to clear out these spider mines over here. There is a manual targeting on the drill, but now we have a bunch of scouts that are harassing Swann's siege tanks, but Karax is able to help them with that. And whatever is in the ground forces do get completely shredded by these siege tanks on the back over here. A few more scouts again, having given a few problems to the allied commanders, but they don't last too long. And now Karax has a bunch of carriers here to go ahead and deal with this. So you can see these carriers just taking so much damage from the lava burst. These things are completely nasty, but they're going to start taking out the suppression tower right now. Observer does walk into the lava burst, so then they're getting cleaned up. But there is also now a Phoenix that is attacking some of these interceptors. The goal here is to take out the suppression tower before it brings down Orana's transport, because that is the goal. Orana's transport is sitting at 5,000 HP so far, and there's still one more suppression tower to spawn, which is that one over here. And yeah, there's again some more orbital strikes here. Deal with a big widow mine hit on a lot of the interceptors here. Does it show the interceptors lost? Unfortunately, it doesn't show you how many interceptors were lost in the process. But so far, one carrier has gone down, and probably from a lava burst actually. The lava bursts do deal a lot of damage, and you have to really be careful because lava bursts will try and target your units and your army. There's another harass wave that's coming up here. Karax has a good number of cannons, and there are also some spinning daisies to deal with the air units here, so that harass wave will pretty much be cleaned up very quickly. Swann does have a bunch of siege tanks on here, but I think that siege tank has gotten picked off by a lava burst. But he's going to be repairing that, picking that up very, very soon. There we go, he's picked up that last siege tank. And now he basically has to just go ahead and start clearing out some of these units. Karax has also gone for the repair drones for his carriers. This is actually very useful because he's able to heal up Swann's army as well in the process. It's actually very, very nice here having these repair drones. Carriers do end up moving a little bit into the lava burst. There's another lava burst underneath this carrier, and the carrier is not being microed back, and that carrier ends up popping like a little balloon because the lava bursts are so OP. And yeah, I think that is okay. There's still one more harass wave that's coming up towards Orion's transport, but I think that harass wave pretty much stands no chance against the static defenses that both the commanders put down. Lots of spinning dizzies, lots of photon cannons, lots of deafing on this mission, and now there are going to be a little bit more static defenses that will be put on the side. Unfortunately, lava bursts will try and take out your structure, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. Karax notices that there's a lava burst coming up. He would have lost his entire army there in the process. That carrier is a little bit in the red, but again, there are some repair drones that are keeping these carriers alive, and yeah, they seem to be okay for now.
Upgrade complete.
And these repair drones are actually doing a lot of work. They are keeping these carriers alive. And there's another concentrated beam that has gone down in the process over here. That was I think that was the first concentrated beam, right? I think that was the first one. Concentrated beam is now ready. So we'll see where the next beam is going to be going. It might be yeah, it's going to be targeted right towards the middle over here. So what Swann is trying to do now is just try and weaken this enemy camp here, and weaken some of the defenders that are there on this side, because the side hasn't been cleared out, and Orion's transport is already making its way towards that side. They're in a little bit of a hurry. They are in a little bit of a hurry to make sure that the transport does not end up getting clipped by the rest of these enemy units. But they have to be really careful with these minefields as well. The good thing is the spire mines do not end up hitting Karax's units, but those wither mines can end up causing Karax to lose a lot of interceptors, which can make it a little bit tricky. Carriers are only strong when they have interceptors there, because that is where the damage output is. Orion's transport soaking up a lot of damage over there from the spire mines, and that is where the problems can occur, because there are no ground units to take out these spire mines, so there needs to be a little bit of detection. Attack wave has spawned, but has been promptly deleted by the allied commanders. There's another big on this side as well. And a few more siege tanks. Oh, there are a bunch of SCPs, I think, in the Hercules as well. Is he going to put the siege tanks in here? Or is he just using that to shuttle his stuff across? The one thing you can do is you can put a bunch of SCVs into the Herc with your siege tanks, and the SCVs will actually repair the siege tanks while the siege tanks are inside the Herc with them. I think the goal here is to just provide a little bit of fortification on this side. Over here now, the Karax is going to start pushing in, and so we can decide this is the first suppression tower to spawn, which means this is going to be the second one that will be spawning in this mission. And yeah, there are still some enemy defenders on here as well that have to be addressed, so this is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. So again, lots of Wither Mines here dealing so much damage to these interceptors. Lots of orbital strikes coming out. You just end up cleaning up this attack wave here. And yeah, Karax has to make sure he doesn't end up wasting too much of his energy, because as he does the later pushes, it will require him to do a little bit more. He has to be a little bit more careful. So again, pick up on the siege tanks here to just ends up shredding these zealots over here. We're going to have hybrids as well on this side, and the repair beam keeping the siege tank alive until the Colossus interferes and ends up killing that siege tank. And now Karax is going to be using his carriers to push in onto this side. His carrier is getting very awfully dangerously close to this, and to this lava burst here. There's another lava burst on this side. I think one of those carriers does end up going down here, and another carrier ends up going down as well to that lava burst. That lava burst is dealing a lot of damage. An MVP lava burst. A total of 9 carriers have been lost to these lava bursts right now, which is very unfortunate for Karax, because he is trying to max out, but actually he's actually maxed out on his supply, which is kind of impressive here. But he's at 3 bases right now. Swann is at 1 base, so Swann cannot afford to take as many losses as Karax can, but overall seems to be okay. So chains get unsieged as well, and you drop back down here, and now that last suppression tower has to be addressed by Karax. Karax's army is well in position to deal with that, and that suppression and tower ends up going down. One more harass wave on this side now. There are some zealots, which end up taking out some of these cannons, and a bunch of scouts here. Another bunch of orbital strikes that end up cleaning up air units, and now Karax just give up. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna use half my energy and take out all those M1 units because I'm so sick and tired of losing my stuff to lava burst like this. So those carriers are brushing through the little a car wash called a lava burst, and I think no carriers have gone down in the process. And now he's going to start pushing to the side now, and they start attacking Yamon's forces. And you see the damage up of these carriers once you get a good number of them. The one issue that I have with mass carriers is it just takes so long to get them to a point where they're actually, you know, as strong as this. You know, a lot of people see these mass carriers and they're like, oh, they're really, really strong. It's like, yeah, the carriers are good, but it takes a while to get to a point where they're actually this good. In the early game, they're basically a paperweight. So I tend to not use carriers very much, but again, Karax is going to start pushing to the side, and now there is a pulse cannon that gets dropped on here to end up cleaning up these enemy forces. And I think the bonus objective will... are they going to go and do the bonus objective? They might be in a prime position to. They haven't done the first bonus objective, though, because they were still trying to ramp up. Swann and Karax are both very gas-intensive, very gas-heavy commanders and very slow-ramp commanders. So I'm actually not surprised that they are not... they hadn't done the first bonus objective. They really need to... They were focusing on the main objective over here, which is basically what you should be doing when you are playing a difficult mutation with slow commanders. So... we have a bunch of stuff over here. We have a ping on factory, asking to get a cooling boost here. So yeah, he's basically just adding some more siege tanks. Orion Transport is taking a little bit of damage from the Stalkers, and I don't think this area has been cleaned up as well. And there's a hybrid Dominator that's parked like on this side, and Karax will have to hurry up a little bit if he wants to go and help his ally out, because yeah, so there goes down. Down goes one of those hybrid Dominators. There's another one up there as well that needs to be addressed as well. And yeah, Orion Transport is taking a little bit of damage, and a lot of these Rangers are there. So there's a hybrid Dominator. A few orbital strikes do come down here, but they're not going to be very useful. And Solar Lance is still on cooldown. There's an 80-second cooldown on Solar Lance, which is again that's somewhat unfortunate, because it means that the hybrid, this entire wave has to be cleared out. This entire base has to be cleared out manually by Karax. But he's able to do that right now. These carriers are actually moving a little bit too close to the lava birds, and again, one of those carriers does end up getting picked off by that. But, how many carriers have been lost so far? A total of 10 carriers have gone down. And now the bonus objective has been triggered, but all seems okay for the most part. There are a lot of scouts here, which are causing a few problems for our allied commanders, but I think the amount of static defenses that are put down combined with the siege tanks should be able to hold this side out without too many problems. Transport taking a little bit of damage, is sitting at 5,600 HP so far, and now the suppression tower has spawned, and you can see these widow mines again have taken out some of the interceptors here, which are severely weakening Karax's pushing power. Combined with the fact that there are some lava bursts, and these interceptors walk through the lava bursts, or fly through the lava bursts, wiping out some units there. So again, there's another harass wave here. It's a pure fire beam after some orbital strikes to end up clearing out this harass wave, and now there is a bunch of units as well that are causing a little bit of damage to Orion's Transport. Orion's Transport now is at 4,700 HP, so the commanders will have to be a little bit careful to make sure they do not let the suppression tower be up for so long, because the suppression tower attack speed goes up after some time. So I think after 60 seconds, it'll start rapid firing on Orion's Transport, and you will end up losing the mission so fast. I think I lost a mission, like, it might have even been this mutation. I think I lost a run with this mutation because we left the transport up for very long. I think it might have been this one. It might have been this weekly mutation which I lost on my first try, because we let the transport be up for a while, and the suppression tower actually switched over to rapid fire mode and ends up dealing damage. The little shooting ability, it starts shooting every 1 or 2 seconds, and we weren't able to react to it in time. The last set of suppression towers has been spawned now again. The area has been cleaned up, and the suppression tower will end up getting cleaned up by Swann siege tanks. And now this last set of suppression towers has been spawned again, and again orbital strikes on this side, essentially one-shotting or clearing out the rest of this harass wave. And then now all that is left is to deal with the suppression tower before it goes full Super Saiyan onto Orange Transport. There we go, that is done. Those are all the suppression towers, and now there should be one last attack wave before the mission is over, unless it has already been addressed. I'm not really sure about that. It might have actually been already cleared because transport was delayed a little bit due to the suppression towers hitting her once in a while. Yeah, it does look like that was the last wave of Amon units that were spawned in this mission. There we go, that is the transport saved at about roughly 50% HP, and those are all the security terminals purified. That is GG.